Welcome back, everyone, to Bro Brack Dragness. We are in season 7, episode 5. My name is Craig.
And I'm Juan.
And we are talking about this really interesting episode with a very good theme. Hey, I'm going to start off positive. I thought the theme was really good. A very unique theme, a very, pro-Mexican theme, which it was super culturally relevant.
Wait. I have to do this to my co-host, but can I just check in on you? How are you doing?
Oh my God, dude. Thank you so
after
much
the
for
base?
asking. I'm doing good, man. We had a party this weekend. It was Halloween. We had some fun on Halloween. It ended a little bit short, but still had a good time.
I wonder
How
why
about
that would
you?
be. Yeah, I attended said Halloween party. It felt quite short for sure. So, but I wasn't really watching a lot of the game, so I don't recall what happened. But I hope you are doing better from that game.
Yes.
Now you're shifting into football, and of course, there's always drag to fall back on, right?
Yeah. Well, I am a baseball boy first and foremost. So, but yes, congratulations to the Dodgers for winning the World Series. Best World Series I've ever seen. Hate the Dodgers with all my heart, but hey, credit where credit's due. Yamamoto was a maniac, absolutely deserved MVP. Congratulations to that awful team. And let's go on. Unless you have something to say about the Dodgers.
Congrats, Yamamoto. And I don't really have a strong opinion on the Dodgers or really baseball, but kudos to all of those that really enjoy it and had a really good time watching it and move on. And let me just say, I do appreciate you starting on a very positive note. I know that in the last episode, things got a little heated and we deviated a lot. We started talking about La Más Draga and ended up in Pokemon Legenza.
Right.
Hopefully, both of us have cooled down since
Well,
then.
you're in Pokemon Legenza and you're battling now, right?
I am. I'm doing ranked.
You're ranked
Yeah.
battling, and it's a good time.
Oh, it's a great time. So,
All right,
like,
so
yeah,
check out Juan if you want a good battle. Just check out the team with all shiny Pokemon that are really, really bad, like
bad.
Braxian, right? Who else?
Let me go ahead and move forward. I'm not going to tell you my team because of that. So, we move on to this episode 5 and we're getting pretty close to the halfway point. So this season is coming by really quickly, and Craig is right. We do agree on a lot, and it was a really good episode. The theme, La Más Metrera, is introduced by the host of the challenges, Johnny Carmona, and he talked a little bit about the history of the subway train in Mexico City and how it started with one line and over time has expanded to one of the largest train or subway trains systems in the world. So very unique because it has a lot of art embedded within. Craig, did you want to add anything?
No, the only thing I was going to add was after he introduced the theme, he also introduced this person who came in, Salma Luevano.
Yeah.
Who talked about the rainbow economy, a phrase I don't know if I was familiar with, but it was interesting to hear about the rainbow economy. I think some of the contestants were also, I think they were a part of the rainbow economy, maybe without knowing the jargon associated with it. But
well, I'm part of the rainbow economy, and I've always wanted to tell a person like, Craig, I don't accept your straight bucks. But yeah, no. So I think it's more so like the investment in like gay businesses and whatnot. So that's what she was really referring to, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, she came in very quickly and left just as quickly as she came.
Yeah, it was a very quick, punchy thing. No graphics on the board. Just had good presence and spoke really well, and that was it. And then it was on to the mini challenge, which was essentially what's the RuPaul Drag Race equivalent? The
Snatch game.
Snatch game, which when RuPaul's Drag Race does Snatch game, I curl into a ball and I hide in the corner and I say, please tell me when this is over. And what I really liked about La Mas that they did here is they embraced the word cringe. And they were like, this, at least in the subtitles, they're like, this is cringy. This is lame. Whereas I think in RuPaul's Drag Race, they try to make it seem like this is really funny and we're comedians and we're good. But they were right to be like, look, this is cringy and I'm really sorry, everybody, which I think that's the right attitude to have.
Absolutely. And actually, I wanted to make a quick note about the word. So, cringe was actually the word that they meant to say for sure, but because they have been told by Carlo and Bruno that they must only use Spanish words, a couple seasons ago, season 6, Catriona used the word crujiente as cringe. So, it's not really the word for it, but it is kind of funny how she made it close to cringe sounding. So just very funny.
Is that a new rule that they should speak more in Spanish and not use
Well,
English words?
they definitely want to abstain from using a lot of like what has been monopolized in English, just for the sake of, well, there are words that are alternative that you can be using, that you could be imposing. I mean, from this show, there's a lot of words that have come about, and it's kind of created its own little subculture. I don't know if it's so much as the like, well, we're doing drag like better from La Más Draga. It's just more so like, let's encourage a little bit more originality, because it's very easy that if they start taking some of the English lingo, then it loses a little bit of like the authenticity that might exist, and it's better to kind of create the lingo, or some of the lingo already kind of exists too. So like in someone that watches Drag Race Mexico here, shamelessly, but they use a lot of the words that you'll hear in American RuPaul. So they're like la drag queen, and but it kind of allows for La Más Draga to maintain its brand.
Yeah, Lamas does, I think I've said it before, but they're unapologetically Mexican. They are very much, and it makes sense that what you said, because I almost want to say I remember, because we've been watching the show for a while, or you brought it up, showed me it a while ago. I remember more Spanglish back in the day, and I think it's definitely decreased, and that I like that. I'm hoping it's a conscious choice by the production staff to be like, hey, let's focus on Spanish words or whatever. I love that. I think that's really, really smart. From a branding perspective, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they just prefer to continue to create their independent art, keep it on YouTube, make it more accessible to more people, and it's still very successful. Again, not talking down to the World of Wonder projects that are Drag Race. Those shows are great in their own right, but I like that this one maintains its own style and it stays in its own, I would say, train lane. Now, moving back to the Retos La Más Famosa, which, as Craig had explained, it is the Snatch game. They were all very dreading very much the challenge. They were not really excited about it, but they still did it. I know my co-host Craig said, like, you're gonna have to tell me about who some of these people are. Let's go ahead and just highlight some of the more standouts, because there's quite a few, and some of them, I'll be honest, I didn't entirely recognize every single one. Like, someone's gonna have to let me know. If you're watching us, please leave us a like. It's a good reminder to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and please let us know in the comment, like, who was Calypso, because I didn't get the reference. And we'll talk about where the winners and the red seals and the gold seal were given, but I didn't know who Calypso was. Someone that I did know, though, was Dr. Simi, and that was the first one by Axelle de Ville, who did a really unique interpretation. I don't know if you haven't, have you been to Mexico before? We're gonna have to like change that if you haven't.
Have I been to the country? Yeah.
Okay. Have you walked near where there's like pharmacies and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like a cartoon character that is like branded with a specific pharmacy.
Okay.
It's like this old man, and she, for whatever reason, gave him breasts. So it was just kind of funny. And then she was getting roasted because the voice that she created for this non-real character was very Santa Claus. So
yeah. Okay.
It was very inadvertently very funny, even though she said, "I'm sorry, guys. It's all I had." So she did a pretty good job. I think that, they're leaning into, we're not going to be like, none of us here are comedians, but let's do the best we can.
Yeah.
And then another standout was, well, actually, we can go ahead and say that another one that was there was the Sales Fab, or Bridie did the Sales Fab. She is a past competitor. Season 5, which was a very smart choice on Brady's for multitude reasons. Deseos Fab is a sensational YouTuber. If you've never seen her YouTube, I strongly recommend it to anyone. She is a riot. She didn't perform so well in La Más Draga, but she had one of the most iconic songs. Mami, check that song out as well. I'm not getting paid by the sales to say that, but she's incredible. Her YouTube channel, what she dedicates herself, and it's kind of very smart. I don't know if Bridie thought about this challenge as it related to their overall challenge, but one of the things that the sales does is she walks around La Ciudad de Mexico interviewing random people in drag. She'll show you the best flea markets to go to. She interacts with all the locals in drag. She'll even point out the people that are kind of like pointing at her, or maybe not saying such nice comments, but she's so unapologetically fearless, and she's very funny. She's done interviews on the train and the subway, so that's why I'm like kind of funny that this challenge kind of tied to the subway and train. There is an episode where she interviews people on the last train on the caboose, which has always been known. I've never experienced that myself, but it's like a gay hookup caboose that everyone is quite well aware of, and earlier in the episode a lot of them made mention of that final caboose.
Wow, okay.
And the many experiences that they've had there. So the sales Fab was very, very smart, and I think that Bridie did a really good job in saying everybody's dreading it. I'm not. I've watched all of the sales Fab's videos. She has a very distinct voice. I can do it. I can, just imitate a lot of her sayings and whatnot. And she did it brilliantly. I know that there's some people out there, I don't want to call out the person that has said oh, it wasn't really that funny, but I'm I think she did a really good job. She did a really good impression. You knew who she was. My partner, who knows who the Sales Fob is, and he'll watch the Sales Fob YouTube videos with me, thought it was actually the Sales Fob sitting there. I'm no, it's Bridie. Yeah, so she did a really good job.
What do you think of them asking questions and then actually having to give the correct answer? I don't remember that in past seasons. Maybe it is a thing, and then getting pied in the face.
I think they're just changing it up a little bit. I don't know if I agree with you. I don't think I recall it in past seasons. I think in other seasons they've asked them questions about geography, which is not a great thing for a lot of us, and including people that don't do drag. So I think it was a cool thing. If you're gonna play this character, you should know a lot. And they still provided a lot of opportunity for those that were on the bench to kind of add their character. The last thing I want to kind of add, again, we always kind of get on this show about editing. I think they could always edit and just put their highlights of it. I know they're not soliciting our advice, but what I would say is I appreciate the Reto Más Famosa or Snatch Game on their end to be the small mini challenge as opposed to the whole episode. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like watching an entire episode of imitations, especially when it's not necessarily people that you'll know. And again, I know that they know their audience, but it is rough even when you do know the people, especially when they all perform not so well. And a good example are some of the last seasons of the American RuPaul's Drag Race. We don't want to watch a train wreck for the entire duration of the episode. Right. So I would rather see it in a small, condensed format. And obviously they still need to edit here, but I think they did it in a good way where it's at least a small challenge and we have a main runway. I think RuPaul's Drag Race still conserves the runway, but I feel so drained after watching an entire episode.
It is rough. When we watch it all together, it is it's like we ran a marathon. But Bridie wins here. Congratulations.
Rightfully so.
And gets the gold seal, which, spoiler, will play into this episode later. Anything else with the mini challenge before we go into the judges?
Yes, 3 red seals were given to the lowest performing persons: Dulce, Connie Cortez, and Calypso. So let us know in the comments if you agree. I felt they were the rightful pick, but I think I'm also a bad person to ask because the only person that I recognized was Connie Cortez, which, fun fact, Craig, Connie Cortez was imitating the special judge that was invited. And even she recognized, like, oh no, my voice doesn't sound like her too late. But she made the best of it that she could. I wasn't necessarily mad with it. I just didn't really feel it was very Yeti Moi. I also wanted to commend Nyla Downs did a pretty good Laura Leon. This lady has existed for many, many years. She's been in telenovelas. She's quite the character. She's got a very unique voice. So Nyla did a really good job imitating the voice. But all in all, they all got pied in the face, which I'm sure is a video you could search on another search engine and come up with some really unique results. But that's basically the only thing that I could think of, which was quite a bit, actually.
All right, well, let's go into the to the host and to the drag altar boy, Karime Pinter, in this nice green, vibrant outfit. I love the cuts in on the top. I've been keep saying it, she's getting hotter and hotter. I am more and more in love with her. She's incredible. And the drag altar boys are also here wearing the same outfits, doing their thing.
Well, yes, it's probably the same outfits, and we're still unclear how often they get washed, or if they have like uniforms and it's like Mondays, Tuesdays, and they all look the same. I like Karime's outfit. I think they're doing a better job with styling her, especially as opposed to the early weeks. I don't know if this is an outfit I would wear. I personally, I know you said that you like the cuts. Unless I was like, I don't want to throw this reference because I hate referencing other shows after I already have done it multiple times during this episode, but I'm a big hypocrite and I'll call myself out on that. Sure. But if I was like Fantasia Royale Gaga from Hot House,
oh my god,
and Dragula.
Hey, if you know Hot House, say something in the comments. No shot anybody knows that.
Or Dragula. She was also in Dragula.
Sure.
Then I would wear it. And you know why I'm saying that. So I don't think I need to explain anymore. But
I think you have to be well endowed or the opposite. And I think that it works on both cases.
Well, I think it looks nice on her. I'm definitely not gonna shame or body shame her. I'm just saying, personally, I would want to have like giant ass tits in order to like just highlight that. But as we have established, I really like cheap looks, and that's kind of what my aesthetic is. I mean, you can't get that from the polo that I decided to wear today, but if you were there during the weekend thing that we were talking about, lots of skin cheapness and all of that.
And you might have cheaped out on the contacts. Well, Juan wore these blue contacts that I think the next day gave him blurry vision, and I was very worried about his eye.
You know what? I did it for the art. I will sacrifice my.
You look great, dude. I wish we could put a picture. You looked fantastic.
I appreciate it.
All right. Next up, we have our judges for the week, including our special judge. Any comments on any of the judges' outfits? I was a little bit down on Latal. Usually I'm like very like Latal looks incredible, amazing. Oh, this one's a little plain.
Can I tell you why though? She said she was an Almodovar girl. So I think she's playing homage to Pedro Almodovar films. And so I think is like a Penelope Cruz character. And so that was the reference. But I agree, it's a little lackluster for Letal. I'm so used to her bigger looks for sure. So I do agree with you. Now, can you please zoom in, or not zoom in, but like, do you see the comment that she said about her nipples?
Yes. So tonight my nipples are kind of sensitive. They're trying to tell me something. Which, if you looked at her nipples, she does have these big ruby, I'm guessing just rubies on her nipples. So I don't know what they were trying to tell her. I don't know if that's a reference to something, but what do you think it was trying to tell her?
I don't know. I feel like it's very like Mean Girls coded, like where Karen says that her nipples help her tell the weather. It's been like a very like nipple themed weekend, I feel, for some of us.
Some of us, yes, definitely for some of us.
Alrighty.
All right. Talk about our special guest.
Well, let me just say, I'm starting to see a little bit of what people are seeing in Natalia Sosa. Her look, I didn't mind. It's very Lola Cortez from Solo las más. I did a little bit of research and I searched to see if they follow each other on Instagram. Guys, they don't follow each other, and that has me thinking they are probably aware of each other, but they probably do not talk. I don't want to start the rumor, but allegedly they probably don't get along. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh,
This is
wow.
just going off of Instagram.
Salacious.
And this is just going off of Instagram because I'm like, they don't follow each other, but yet they both do Broadway. And so how come their worlds have never interacted if they are based out of Mexico City? So, and then my next thing is Yari Mejia. She has always, she's feeling very anime this entire season.
Yeah.
I love all her looks. Her wigs have been impeccable. But the thing that gets me the most about her is, well, number one, I really always love all her sense of humor and how she just feels a little bit more light than Letal and Natalia combined. But I love that she has her soda to watch the show in a bag. This is like such a Mexican thing. I remember the first time I went to see my grandparents, who are no longer alive, but back in the day, they served me in a bag and I was just so excited, and it was just like my favorite thing. So to see it, it kind of just brought me this nostalgia, because I remember like going to a restaurant, they will keep your glass bottle because they will recycle it for you, and then they'll serve your drink that remained in a bag and then put it with a straw, and it's really, really fun. So
That's interesting. The only opportunity I had in my life to drink a liquid out of a bag was when I was in elementary school. My school piloted, kind of, I think it was like a year or two, milk in a bag. Did you have milk in a bag? It was, you know how you would get like the little milk, you would pay like, 10 cents or 35 cents or whatever it was for milk. Ours came in like a bladder bag, and you would stick it with the thing, and all these kids we're just like little kids, so we're just like poking it, it gets everywhere. I think
that sounds messy.
I think it's popular in Canada. I think it's part of I think it's just part of what they do up there. But every time I see soda in a bag, I think of milk in a bag from when I was a kid.
Has that person that is close to us that is Canadian, like, have they shared that?
I know this person who is close to us had moved from Canada by the time grade school came up. But I think one of her siblings was in grade school. So maybe I'll double check with them and see if that's a thing that has happened. If
you drink it from the same concept though, right?
Yeah. Well,
not like an udder, like.
Yeah. No, not like an udder. Well, actually, I don't know. No, because this. Well, you tell me. Is it literally like not like a grocery bag, but is it like?
No, it's not a grocery bag. It sustains strong liquids.
So, like, if it never was poked, it would just be a bladder of soda.
No, because it's like tight.
Okay, so in my school, it was like a plastic wrap filled bag that
That's a Capri Sun, Craig.
Kind of like a Capri Sun, but like plastic, like truly like plastic. I'm feeling crazy, but I feel like this was a real thing. Maybe it was a dream I had.
Maybe next time we do this, we can have Capri or these little bags. I was gonna say bags. Yeah. I'm not gonna be drinking. Do you ever? Okay, here's my first time that I deviate, but I will return back to the subject. But do you ever just go back to things that tasted so good as a child, and then you're like, wow, what was I thinking? Capri Sun is that for me. I cannot enjoy a Capri Sun anymore because I drank so many when I was a kid, and they're just not.
I still think Capri Sun's hit. To go back to last episode, I did have a Duvaline this just yesterday, in fact. My daughter went trick-or-treating and came back, and she's like, Dad, what is this? I'm like, oh my God, that's the thing from La Más Dulce. And maybe it might have even been, what's her face's the Duvaline that she was missing that one time. Maybe she found
it. Yari Mejias. Oh yeah, that is true. She was missing her Duvalines. What were your thoughts on it?
It was just like a mini one, kind of like how there's like mini Snickers or whatever. I opened it up. I was expecting the spoon. I did not get the spoon.
Yeah, that person didn't give the little spoon, so
it was kind of like a fun size Snickers where it's like it's not the real thing or whatever. But anyways, so I just ate it. It was very chocolatey, which I'm not a fan of that kind of fake chocolate. It was good though. The texture wasn't as off-putting as I thought it would be. I could definitely eat it again if I had the chance, but I would move the chocolate aside and just eat the strawberry and vanilla part.
Oh yeah, but like, or you could just swirl it and be chaotic like a lot of us. So yeah, no, that's fun.
Well, anyways, let's talk about, unless you have anything more.
No, that was it.
Special guest.
Okay, let's talk about the special guest, Yeri Moi. So Moi's like moi, like a kiss, moi like makeup artist, because Yeri Moi began as a makeup artist. She is influencer, YouTuber, did not look a lot like this back in the day, but she's definitely had a lot of work done, and she is now really into music, and she's been releasing music, and she's been pretty moderately successful. Her music is definitely not for the faint of heart. She has some very raunchy lyrics. I must admit, I do enjoy a good Yeri Moi tune here and there. I think she's great. She's kind of like a Bella Cat. It's kind of interesting that they had her closely around the same time as Bella Cat. And in fact, they have a song together. So they're very unique lyrics and catchy beats and some very, suggestive themes. But so all I have to say is I really enjoyed that part where, as we all know, Karime gets to the part when eventually, right? Because it takes her a little bit of time. She tells you 7, she's like siete son, and then she'll give you something themed with 7, and this goes on for quite some time. I've noticed on a couple episodes she misses saying some sponsorships because she's still going on. Like, it's been a couple episodes where she doesn't mention Dos Equis, as the flyer for Dos Equis is in the bottom. So if I was a sponsor, I'd be a little low-key with this, but because it's on the screen, fine. And she's memorable, and I have to commend that. So something she's doing, we're remembering her. I know there's strong opinions on her, but she's doing something where we're going to remember her. Anyway, where she gets to the part eventually where she's like, y que arranque el ataque, woof! But she wanted Yeri Moi to bark, and then Yeri Moi meowed, and then the captions in the bottom said meows instead. And I just loved it. Whoever's doing the captions,
dude, I need to know who this person is. They are doing an insanely good job. Fantastic.
They're just so well written that
it's so good.
They're so hard to match. I mean, even those small little details, like most of us that are watching it would know that she meowed instead, but I did love the clarification, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, let's move on to the runway. And we're going to start with Calypso. Calypso comes out in my opinion, a Mega Man like, this is Gear Man, coming out in a bright red outfit. She is asking Toxico and Venenito to work and is trying to get them to work even though they're sleepy or don't want to work or anything like that. Another example of poor Venenito working his poor little heart out.
to exhaustion.
To exhaustion, this poor kid.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing that Upton Sinclair wrote about in The Jungle.
This was what he was envisioning. Interesting. Yeah. Well, for me, I thought this red was a very vibrant red. It's a red you don't really see that often. It is very in your face, and it is a huge choice. But I think it was a choice that really paid off. In my opinion, this was one of the best grades of the day. I'm giving it an A.
You know what? I have to say that I concur with my co-host. I actually really, and they all did so good this runway, or maybe it was just something along the themes of the choice that made it so good. But Calypso did the Obrera station, and she did an incredible job. The look is very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an A-. I don't know what I needed for it to be A or an A+, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool. It felt very video game-esque, and yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, I could see it being like a gym leader, or I just kept thinking Mega Man the whole time. Like I was expecting, her to throw some gears at somebody or something like that. So great job, Calypso. Let's move forward and let's talk Moon. What are your thoughts on Moon?
Well, do you want gossip first, or do you want my thoughts?
Oh,
'Cause-
gossip. Okay. Well, here, let me set up what Moon was. So Moon is the one that came out in a kind of like a jellyfish outfit, and then underneath was, Moon in a gray and blue outfit, a gray skirt. I really liked the construction on top. I thought the jacket construction was very good. The skirt was a little boring, just kind of, I don't know what the word is, just kind of like weaved up and down, but it was a decent look for me. I have this as a B. What about you? And you can give me the chisme if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I want to say is that she did the Cuatro Caminos, so it's like a dome. I thought it felt like a jellyfish thing too, but it's like a dome.
Mm,
And I think we get to see the dome somewhere in the look. I also thought she did fairly good. I just want to say that I'm not grading her based off the gossip, but I am a little disappointed in some of what I've seen. The look itself, I will give it. I have to give it a B plus objectively because it was still good. It used a lot of the color themes of the stop and like the building and all of that. I looked it up and she did a really good job. So no complaints there. The complaints kind of fall into the behind the scenes. If you're la más productora or la más chingón as Craig and I are, then you get sometimes backstage footage, which sometimes ranges from this is what we're getting for being subscribed and supporting La Más Draga, which by the way you should, because they put so much heart and work into this project. So if you can do it, by all means do it, because it keeps this project alive. And once again, they're not paying me to say that, but it's such a good show. Moreover, in this last edition of Behind the Scenes, Moon came out after the runway, pissed. The Veneno, he, I guess, gave her the wrong prop. I guess she had a
mm,
unique to her look suitcase, which we see at the very end, but he gave her someone else's suitcase, and she was flipping out backstage. She's like, El Veneno's un idiota, blah, blah. And I'm like, ooh, we're seeing your nastiness. That's I don't know about this. I think I say this as I say, no, fame will never change me. And I mean, we're not even at that stage yet. We haven't even gone to the top four. And even then, like, I think people don't want to see this that early on. It's like a very nasty attitude. It was a mistake. Now, granted, I will say that I feel that Veneno is not because of the straightness, because we have a good example in Craig. He is a straight man and pays attention to details, maybe not the same details that I always do, but he pays attention to certain details. But Veneno, sometimes when you do see him, although he's helping some of the feminosas and stuff like that, I don't know if he's collecting his check. That's all he's doing. And he ended up giving her, it was a mistake. And I don't know if that suitcase really made her or broke her, because it's not like any of us watching her were like, oh my goodness, the suitcase has ruined the entire look. But I guess she felt that strong enough to throw a tantrum, and honestly it just doesn't paint her in the best light. But I mean, I guess stress and everything gets to them, so all
yeah.
I'm
I
saying
mean, they're
is,
on a competition. There's a lot on the line. They want to win, and you only kind of get one shot at some of these things. And they're the drag altar boys. They do a lot of the heavy lifting. I mean, they're props. They're acting in the thing. They have to remember, 8 different routines or 10 different routines or whatever, and then they have to go at the end, and he has to say some nice thing about the loser or whatever at the end. Like, it's kind of a hard job. A lot's expected of these guys. So
would
uh,
you ever audition for that job?
I don't think I have the body or the talent to do that. So, but that's just me.
I
I
don't
would
have the
love
talent.
to.
I don't have the talent either, and that's exactly what we're referring to, because I think for Toxico, he has to also make sure he doesn't trip over his third leg in every single episode. The other thing I wanted to say, and this is a little bit deviating, but Hidden Mistake of season 5 had actually spoken about how her favorite, what's it called, Her favorite person to use is Venenito. So this is actually a fun fact for you. Hidden Mistake had gone on the record and said, I use Venenito a lot because he is very attentive to every little detail. So he's never let me down.
By far,
that's why you probably see him the most.
He is the best actor out of the three of them, and he's even just a step beyond that. Like he is so thoughtful. It's clear he remembers. He gives his all for every single one of them. He's kind of an underrated character. He does a great job. So yes, I would use Venenito as well. He is incredible.
Yeah, maybe there will be like a work related thing where you can use.
yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Right. Anything else with Moon?
Oh, the last thing is though, despite the fact that this happened backstage, I will say that you didn't really see it visibly on Moon. So good job, Moon, for that. But no, so you didn't see it like really affect her while she did the runway. So I think she effectively did that. So great job. But hopefully there's not that many more tantrums. Wait until you get like to the finale, girl. And I don't know if you're gonna make it to the finale, but if you do,
yeah, looking at these scores, I don't think she's gonna make it.
You're looking at your scores. I've graded her pretty generously.
I think it's about a B. I think that's about where Moon is.
Because of your C's, Craig.
No, even yours. I
had 1 C. Craig, you have 3 C's.
3 C's and 2 B's.
Don't pretend you're the nice guy in this.
Well, looking at our average scores, that third row is the average. Yeah, it's about a B. So,
but if she does, wait until you get your coin and then all of that, and then throw all the diva tantrums that you want. That's what I would do. That's how I do it. I'm waiting for us to get to 100 subscribers, and then oh my goodness,
what a dream, dude!
If we ever get to that, you guys, and please help us out there. I mean, I'm gonna beg because I have to beg at this point.
Man,
you guys saw the Leah Michelle, please. But no, seriously. If I get to 100, you guys, it's over. Everyone at my job, you can't even look at me in the eye because we're not the same.
All right, let's move on to Tulsa, who was in a very unique outfit. Centro Medico was the stop for Tulsa, and in a very huge white, very clearly very heavy dress. She had a hard time walking around, all white except for pops of green on the cross on the hat and a little bit on the chest. I was having a hard time where I was like, is this supposed to be a serpent? Which I thought would maybe kind of make sense, like a serpent on the cross thing or whatever that it's associated with. But I think it literally was just like a very heavy dress. I did like this look, and I really love the prop. The prop that she's holding here is truly incredible. Very well done, great craftsmanship. Big fan of it. I like this look. I gave it an A.
Yeah, actually, I have to say, I had been dragging her for the last few weeks, so I'm aware of that. Not enough to give 3 C's though. I'm just kidding. I'm being shady here. But I had started to get a little bit tired of the monotony, but I think she executed the Centro Medico look really effectively, and the prop really made the outfit. I don't know without the prop if the whole look would have worked, but I'm seeing something interesting in her makeup more than the normal. There's pops of green with a little bit of the black and the white, and that kind of makes it a lot better. So I feel she shut me up this week. I'd say last week I was shut up by, I don't remember who shut me up and gagged me, but I live for being gagged, and Tulsa did that, so I'm gonna give her an A.
Nice. Yeah, it was a great look. It helps with the medical theming of, the monocolored look. So great job by Tulsa. Let's move on to Connie Cortez, who is in Connie Cortez, yes. Kind of this dress made of seemingly like meat and like kind of like these innards. Is kind of gross. Also kind of reminded me of maybe like a shaman look where it had Toxico behind him acting as, I don't know, maybe like an aid or a guide. I believe Venenito dies in this one as well. So put that in the Venenito dies.
Unalived for sure in that.
Where am I? I think it was good. I have it as a B. I didn't, I don't know if I'm a fan of Connie Cortez, I
think his dad is going to come, and you saw how burly he looks.
Yeah, dude,
So
he'll beat my ass for sure. But
he's
like,
like, what the fuck are you saying about my drag daughter, bitch? Just kidding. I'm kidding. To which I'll have to like mediate the situation and be
sure.
like, no, calm down, sir. I have a special room in this train for you.
It's in the far back.
No, so I have questions. So the reference is this song. So if you're in the comments and can better educate Craig and myself on this, what's the context? Because if I go to a train stop and
I almost want to go. I want to see these zombies or whatever's
a
happening over there.
Baraka type of creature from like Mortal Kombat comes and attacks me, like it's a little bit weird. So I have questions. It reminded me a little bit of this, and I promise you, when you hear the title of the movie, it is a movie, and it's not that type of movie. The Midnight Meat Train.
Oh
Um,
boy.
no, I promise you, it has Bradley Cooper. Trust me, I thought it was gonna be that type of movie.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed. It was just a regular movie. So, um, but it was a horror movie, and like just there's this critter that attacks people on the train that are by themselves. So it gave me that without even really knowing the full context. I actually do like Connie Cortez. I feel like she's the most riskiest with her drag. I think she's still getting to understand what she's doing in drag. So I give her maybe after the postseason for a good glow up. But I mean, I do appreciate that she's probably of all one of the ones that has tried the most versatile looks. Sometimes they don't land, sometimes they land. As you can see in our grades, it's been high highs, low lows. I think in this case it landed well with me. I'm gonna give her a B plus.
Okay. Well, I would push back just a little bit on the high, low, lows. I'm gonna go with mids. I think Connie Cortez is really middle of the pack. Her best look of the season. But yeah, I mean, it's the scores have been middling so far, but I'm hoping for the best.
Well, maybe this is just because, and this is like a confession on how bad I did in high school, but like B's and C's were good. If I got those, I was delighted. I was
I bring this up, but I got some good grades in high school, and my mom expected a lot of me. And I remember my freshman year, or no, my sophomore year, I was taking an AP class, and I had to get progress reports done for football. And I handed her my progress report. It was all A's and an A minus in AP Euro. And she signs and she goes, A minus. And that was it. And I was like, okay, I fucked up. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next, who is Detox. Detox wears this very pink, very black mariposa, but like a butterfly kind of a look. When she came on screen, my wife who was sitting next to me goes, oh wow, that's really beautiful. So she did love the reveal of, when the butterfly wings came up. I thought it was a decent look. I don't know if it was anything particularly, special or anything. I think it was a well done, well executed look. I have it as a B. What about you, Juan?
I actually thought, and the look is from Juan Lan. It's a butterfly symbol, so she did it really effectively. She cinched her waist insanely. Like it looked so great, the waist. So she redeemed herself, I feel, for last week. What else did I wanted to mention something. Oh, her eye makeup, which Letal actually commended her for, looked really, really good. She did something different than what she's used to doing, and it paid off. Now, I'm gonna give her a B minus because it wasn't like there were so many good looks on this episode. It was pretty, but I needed maybe a little bit more. And then I'm gonna give you a side little bit of gossip with her. So I finally found out that the Beca de Duques, which she's gotten on repeated occasion, is a small little tip from what's her face from Karime Pinter, and she was kind of complaining about the amount.
Oh,
She's like, I can only buy a soda with this. So I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I would never turn down any money. Like,
yeah, geez, give me a buck. I'm happy.
Until I'm in Jeff Bezos mode, I'm like, okay, I've had enough. Like, but no one should be a billionaire, right? But all I'm saying is, like, I wouldn't turn down any change or whatever. If you guys want to donate in the channel watching, go ahead and do so.
Yeah,
Like,
throw
we'll
some
put
money
our
our way.
PayPal
I don't
there.
know how you'll do it, but go ahead, figure it out.
Throw some D's on this hoe. So, but no, I mean, I hate seeing some of this backstage footage because I feel that those that sometimes do watch it, like, sometimes paints them not in the best way. Maybe she was just trying to be funny, but you know how she's like very venomous. Again, I'm like, I don't know. Something's just not starting to click with me, but
She's a villain, and I hope she starts embracing it. Like, but I think she might like. It's hard to be the villain and then also want to be liked. I think you kind of got to like forget about that. What do you think? I mean, I haven't asked this before, but like, what do you think of her long-term stay in the game? I can't put my finger on what she'll be. She could leave next week. She could win the whole season. I don't know what to expect of her.
You know, that's an interesting question. I agree with you. I feel that she is doing a lot better than what I thought she would do, actually. I thought she was going to be one of the early outs based on her promo look, and she shut me up. But I think between the dislikability factor with some of her not good moments and where she's not necessarily the nicest to her fellow competitors, plus sometimes she's unpolished and then sometimes she's super polished, it really leaves her in a weird place for this competition, especially almost halfway through. I don't know. I think I'm hopeful that if she continues delivering looks like this, she will continue on to the finale. But if she gets caught up in the drama and gives us very lackluster looks like the previous last 2 weeks for me, then I would say she'll be out in like the next 2 episodes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on and let's go to Nyla Downs, who had a pretty amazing outfit with 2 really great looks. Starts off singing, which is already putting me off a little bit. Not really a fan of when they start talking and singing. But she comes out in a very big outfit. It has what would you call it? Is a federalis? Is that the right term? Like it was like almost a wanted poster or something. I don't even really know what it was.
It was Emiliano Zapata, so like the revolutionary.
Got it.
Like
okay, yeah. Like a revolutionary. Okay. And the reveal comes, and then underneath is it's seemingly like a train or something. And as she's walking around, the smoke is billowing from the smokestack of the train or whatever that's called. Really incredible prop. You know, one of the better props that I've seen on the show. I love this type of steampunk kind of bronze-ish type of look. It looked really metallic and heavy, but it still moved really, really well. This was a really great look. I think it's an A. What do you think?
Let me start by saying A+. So, because I want to get into the look. She shut me up from last week. I was starting to get a little bit worried. I was afraid that she was going to come in the circular structure. And once again, there's a lot of things to point out about her and this look, and I'm going to try to do it in the shortest amount of time that I can, keeping in mind that we still have a few more to talk about. So the first thing I want to say is she paints, she sings, she is an artist in every sense of the word. The singing has a very kind of traditional folk-like. There's the Nyla Downs comes from, there's a singer named Lila Downs. I'm pretty certain that's where it comes from. And just there's that folklorico, there's that just culture, there's that like revolutionary part that is very big on like Mexico's history, and the color palette's so carefully chosen, the set, when she becomes the train, even her first look with the sombreros on her breasts, and then like the steam coming out of her shoulders. It was art, and you know, this show really highlights the show and what it's about. When like you have these moments, you know, they're very unique. I can think of like a couple other moments in past seasons, like when Paper Cut came out in La Más Guillermo del Toro as the tree thing. You just knew that it just went beyond just a runway look, and I feel like she's accomplish and really hit that moment. I loved it, and I was just a tad disappointed that it didn't get the winning look of the night, but I'm not entirely offended because again, they all did really good, but Naila really just upped the ante. I'm a little bit worried going into next week. Not worried because she lacks the talent, but I'm like, how much more can she redeem herself from this week? So it'll be very interesting. But I do think she's incredible. I just live for every look, and anytime I know she's going to come out, there's something exciting. Except for last week because it was the same structure, but like she's incredible.
Yeah, it's super high construction value, but I think there's staying power here. I could see her as a finalist for sure. And I hope I do because she is making some really interesting looks that I've never really seen before on a runway. So congrats to Nyla down. Let me take these away and let's go to Excel DeVille. In a, I don't know how to describe. Can you describe this one? Because my notes just say she's talking and then a grade. So I didn't really know how to describe this type of outfit.
So for me, and I'm not an expert by any means, the train station that she was alluding to said Garibaldi, Lagunilla, and the look was very folklorico, like it had a very traditional pattern. It almost kind of gave, and I know it's not charro because charro's more associated with like Jalisco, but like it still read a lot of that, and that kind of like devil in front really it just makes me think that it has some ties to folklorico dance. Let me know in the comments if I'm off base, because I can be. I'm not the most educated on all of these things, but it was good. And why I say the folklorico, because there was a part after the devil look came off where she did a little bit of the dance, whatever dance. I don't know if it's associated with a very specific dance, but she added that. As far as the part where she talked, she said something to the effect, and I don't know it word for word, but she just said like, cheers to the ladies, or ladies, what's it called, are great, or whatever. And then men, she calls cabrones, and then she raises the shot, and then she's like, take a shot or whatever. And she does a shot up on stage, which is kind of fun, like who wouldn't want to go? You're really excited. Hopefully if you're hearing the music that they're playing when they're doing the runway, like you want to do another shot. She is kind of becoming one of those for me that I will be very sad if we don't see her in the finale, because she's been very consistent. I like her makeup. I don't know if this is her strongest look, so I'm going to be fair and give her a B+, but I like her a lot, and I really want to see her in the finale too. And I think she did really good. I think my only critique is that just as it relates to her fellow competitors, with the exception of a few others, they really upped their ante, which made it kind of hard for her to stand out as usual.
I gave this a C, which is, I think Excel DeVille by far is my favorite feminosa in the competition. Very good personality, very funny, very charismatic, and the looks are always very good. So when I saw this look, I'm like, I want to give it a B just because I like this person. So if it was any other person, what would I give it? And I think I'd give it a C. I probably wish I would have gave it a B, but it is what it is.
You can change your grade, Craig.
No, I have to be true and honest to this Google Word doc that I made, notes to myself.
This is some like prideful straight man.
It's unnecessary pride. It's unnecessary, but whatever. But I think the look was good. Just nothing special. I guess by virtue, it is one of my weaker scores of the day. But
for me, it really just comes down to everybody did so good this week.
This was a strong week.
I always recognize her for being so consistent. I have no doubt she'll continue to be consistent. If a B+ for me is the weakest look, like she's on her way, I feel, to the finale. I can almost with certainty, if I had to place on anyone that I know for certain, and this is as someone that's also a Naila Downs fan, if I had to place for certain just based on my grades and everything, I think Axelle Deville has a spot in the finale. I want Naila also to be there, but I think my fear with Naila is always, and I think that's why she's also really exciting too, is that have we seen it all yet? And I know that maybe next week she's gonna shut me up again. And
Right.
so
It's hard to maintain that high power, but maybe she's got that in the tank. Who knows? So,
but Excel is so consistent that I'm like, if I had to bet money on anyone to make it to the finale, it's Excel for sure.
she's very confident, and I love the confidence that she exudes. All right, let's move to our winner of the week in Kaus. Kaus. Oh no, I didn't put an X bar. Kaus is our winner, coming out in a Mantis Elizabethan, kind of an old, that was the theme of our Halloween party this weekend, was Elizabethan. So,
And you missed an opportunity to dress like that, Craig.
I wish I would have. I maybe would have won the night, but
especially because crickets are very dear to you.
well, and oh god, man! And imagine me wearing this, sad that the Dodgers won. Like it would, that would be nice.
It kind of would be funny too, though. Like just like cued into like you had a bad day with
with like my little mantis arms like going like this or whatever.
And you in the cricket sounds just because we know you love
Please. Them. Yeah, I need to get you a soundboard. I think that's what needs to happen. I thought this look was good. What I really liked was the reveal was cool with the fan down. And then when she turned around, on the back of her head was like the city, or maybe it was the stop of the actual.
Yeah, it was the stop.
That was a cool look, or a cool idea that only Nyla did, but actually referencing the actual train of it all. I gave this a B, and I do still stand by it. I'm not, again, I agree with you. I'm not mad that it lost or that it won. I do think other people could have won. I guess my winner would have been the Mega Man looking guy. What was that one?
Calypso.
I thought that one was really good. What are your thoughts on Kaus?
So, not B. I thought it was an A, for sure an A, not an A+, but definitely an A. And that's not cowardice or anything like that. I actually was really excited, and I was watching it with my partner, and we both audibly gagged when we saw her face come up. It was just, the makeup was so well done, and she made it really exciting. I think she eats up one of either Veneno or Tóxico. At the end, I think it was Veneno. And she had a really strong runway. I think Caos Lascivia is one of those for me that I wasn't initially as excited to watch in the competition, but she's starting to solidify her strength in this competition. And I think she's unaliving it. And she's doing a great job. I liked it. Again, I'm only a tad bit mad that she won over. We'll discuss who we shared as our favorite.
Sure.
But I think it was overall a really strong runway. I can't believe, with the fact that we constantly play crickets for Craig, that he did not rate it higher. But maybe it's the trauma.
Yeah, I don't like crickets. Maybe that's the lesson. It brings sad feelings for me.
One last question. Have you ever ate crickets?
Have I had crickets? I believe I have.
They're spicy.
Oh, they're spicy.
If you have them like dehydrated, they taste like chips, like Lay's chips. I'm not even kidding. But if you have them like in tacos, they're spicy.
Interesting. Maybe I haven't, or maybe I've had cricket flour before. I don't know.
It has a lot of protein.
Yeah.
I think you can't do it because of the vegan thing. So
yeah, well, whatever. All right. Congrats, Kaus, on winning this week. Let's go into the ending, because the ending was pretty interesting. We're gonna start with Bridie Stun, our winner from the mini challenge.
I have a gossip on Bridie.
Here, let me intro Bridie real quick. So she comes out in a white dress. It has some teal bleeding to it. It also has a serpent all over it. She has some blood on her mouth, and she's it looks like maybe she's becoming a serpent, or she is a serpent, or there are serpents kind of enveloping her, and she's trying to be a little bit more scary. I thought it was okay. I have it as a C. What about you?
I like my mouth being enveloped.
Oh, I love having my mouth enveloped.
That's a House Bunny quote from from the movie. I just had to throw that out because as soon as you said enveloped.
What the hell?
You never watched the House Bunny? It's like Adam Sandler's company, the Happy Madison Films, and stars Anna Faris, Emma Stone. Oh my gosh, it's such a fun movie. Anyway, So, on to Bridie. I'm going to say that her look was not great. After I said everybody did really good, I was a little disappointed in her. And I think it's going to sound like I have this like personal beef, which we're going to explore right now, but let me go ahead and just give her my grade. Actually gave her a D, so I didn't really there wasn't a whole lot going on in the look and the makeup. I feel like she's trying, but if there's one harsh criticism that I agreed with in the night, Letal said, like, you're too late in the competition to be like brand new at this. I know that you continue to say, like, oh, well, I'm kind of like a baby drag and all of that. But he's like, but you should have known that coming into the competition. And it's kind of the wrong time to be exploring and finding out like what your makeup aesthetic is. So if I had to quote it in a movie, in the words of Dolores in the movie Ghost, Dolores played by Whoopi Goldberg.
Envelop my mouth.
Yeah, envelop my mouth. No, girl, you're in danger. And so let me get to the gossip part, and then you're probably gonna be like, that's why you gave her a D. And like I said, that might be true. I don't know.
It definitely colors how we score for sure.
Well, okay, so let me try to make this quick because
you have a lot of gossip today.
I know
what's happening.
Because I paid attention to the behind the scenes and everything going on this week. And
like in Survivor parlance, I'm a huge Survivor fan, and they'll have these little Ponderosa videos where there's kind of behind the scenes and like what the jury's up to. They haven't done it in a while, but and I listen to a few reality TV podcasts, and they say that those are not canon. Those are not true. If it was true, it would be on the episode. So I am a big believer of, if it's on the episode, I agree, and it's true. And if it's not on the episode, it's not true. It's garbage. It's fake news. It's all that.
We differ on that because, especially with another show that we should do that with, but I know you're not going to want to, is Big Brother. So the live feeds, they're very much important.
Live feeds, that's a different story because I can watch live feeds.
CBS protects a lot of them with edits, like a lot of them.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
for sure.
So anyway, the gossip actually doesn't even have to do with behind the scenes. It's actually gossip through gossip and like the websites that I use and whatever. I'm on the dark side of the web. No. Okay, so how do I say this delicately? Gays and girls, we have been robbed by Bridie Dunn, unfortunately. It's with all the regret in the world for me to share. She was making out with Toxico. And like at first it seemed like they were just joking, right? Because like Toxico's like, oh, it's my birthday, because it was Toxico's birthday last week and not the weekend of Halloween. And there was a bunch of his other twink friends invited, yeah, whatever. Like, and none of them look as good as he does, by the way. And so Bridie happened to be there, and a couple of the girls from Más Draga season 7. And then Bridie was just like, ha ha ha, joking, like, oh yeah, like, I love Andres. That's his name, by the way. And I'm not doxing him because you can follow him on social media. So anyway, they kiss, and most of us are like, oh, there's nothing that serious. But then later that night in the club, still celebrating his birthday, the winner of season 5 Fifiesta recorded Bridie Dunn and Toxico like they were eating each other's face. So I want to change it to an F. No, I'm just kidding.
Out of what? Out of jealousy or what?
Not jealousy, no. But like, why?
Wait, why not? I'm trying to understand the gossip here. What's the problem?
That many of us are burning after hearing those news, and we're about to have a full-blown Monica Brandy, the boy is mine.
With who? But between who?
With Bridie.
So you and Bridie.
It's on site next time. I'm not going to see her.
So you are. Who are you, Brandy or Monica in this situation?
You know, I like them both, actually. That we'll talk more about Brandy and Monica in our music video.
That's right. If you want to hear our thoughts on music on Brandy and
go watch the previous video.
The Boy Is Mine music video. I think we do have a VOD of that. Go ahead and check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't that not shocking? She must be funny.
So she is funny. I mean, so here's the thing. I think, like you're saying, baby drag or whatever. Clearly, Bridie got on the show because he has a heck of a personality. He won the mini challenge. Like, look at his scores. His scores are pretty bad, like between you and I, right? But he won the challenge where it's pure performance, not even about how you look. So, must be funny is funny. In fact, he had maybe the funniest line where he's like, so spoiler, he was also on the bottom, but has a gold seal. And you use the gold seal, and as using the gold seal, you get to choose anybody, including the winner, which is insane, I think. But whatever, he gets to choose someone and chooses Candelia. But when he's saying like, all right, everyone, who do you think I'm going to pick? Get on your little computer. Here you go. Type a comment. I'll give you 5 seconds. Very funny. I loved it. I thought it was very good.
He does make good
why he chose Candelia though.
I don't know why Toxico chose Bridie Stun.
Oh my god. Okay, now I'm understanding. This is ridiculous. Personalities matter.
We still like you, Bridie Stun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly I do. Apparently Juan doesn't.
No, I didn't say I didn't, Craig. Stop these rumors. Like, no, I'm tired of rumors starting. I like Bridie Stun. You can turn it into a D. 7 seconds. She had the immunity before she had to use it.
Yes. That was good. I mean, you got to use it when you use it, and I think it was smart. I think Rico Santana is a very strong fight for your life or dance for your life or whatever it's called in the show contestant. So.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
All right. So Bridie Stun avoids a potential loss, and then the final two are Ricura Santana and Candelia. So let's talk about Ricura Santana, unless you have thoughts right now.
No, I will close on my thoughts on Bridie at the end of the episode.
God. Actually, I want to talk about Candelia first, just for completion's sake. Candelia comes out very first one in the. Oops, let me pull up my notes. I apologize.
Bellas Artes.
In the Bellas Artes opening, ballerina in white. I thought she maybe would have been on the bottom anyway. I think it's like a swan ballerina type of a look. It was fine, very plain, nothing really there for me personally. I have this as a C.
Well, you copied me because I also had it as a C. I think the worst part about it for me was that if you're gonna do ballet, where's the ballet shoes?
Absolutely. No toe touch, no, anything like that. Not even an attempt really at ballerina.
Which I'm sure she could do. She's a dancer, so
right.
I don't know why she decided to go for heels, but she should have done. We've seen it on the runway before. I think Fifi has done it and Rudy Reyes from past seasons, but I think it would have added I think her grade would have been a little bit higher for me had she tried to do that instead of coming out in heels, because translating heels, it really felt like, why is she doing all these gestures when it's not really, I don't know, it didn't feel like a strong runway. The look was very, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just very middle of the road, so C for me.
Yep, definition of a C for sure. Let's end with our loser of the week, Ricura Santana, who for me was a C, which kind of goes along with almost every grade I've given her. I don't know what was the train stop for her? Just the idea of train, like the Metro logo?
That's what I think. I didn't see a logo for it or words for it, so I was quite puzzled
when it was her name, it just was the logo, which was kind of strange. But
yeah,
she came out in the kind of orange and white look, kind of a dress jacket, very shiny thing. Took it off, and it was a very colorful look, kind of like a 60s, maybe belonged in like a Austin Powers 60s flashback kind of a dress. It was a Ricura Santana look. I just gave it a C. Pretty middle of the road for me.
I think her look was very middle of the road. I enjoyed her personality throughout the entire duration of the competition. I think she has something that very few people that do drag do, where they can look good in both genders that they explore, or any genders they explore for that matter. I feel that out of drag, she's a very handsome guy. In drag, she's a beautiful woman. So, and then whatever gender she wants to play with that, I'm like, she just is one of those people that is so blessed with whatever genetics that allows her to be like chameleon of whatever she chooses. And I think that's really, really cool. And she was very funny and left very gracefully. So I am a fan of Ricura Santana, despite the fact that my grading toward her doesn't necessarily reflect that. I think she was a really positive person in the cast, and especially when it's really easy to be venomous, she kind of did the opposite and just approached things with a lot of grace and kindness. So I like that a lot about her.
What grade?
I'm gonna give her a C.
Okay. Yeah, I think for the obituary or whatever for this, I think she maybe didn't need to go now, but if she's going now, I think it makes sense. Just even looking at our scores now, I could see her on a future season. I think she has the personality for it, and maybe just needs a little bit more polish and experience in the drag arena. But great performer. I mean, I think she staved off she won 3 elimination battles, which is pretty incredible. And in my opinion, she won this one as well. But it was a little bit of a toss-up. I could see it going either way, but you can't be in the bottom elimination too much without getting burned by the flames of elimination. So salutations to Ricura Santana.
Well, and then I just wanted to, if you watched the previous YouTube video, I made the prediction that Ricura would be out. My co-host Craig said Connie Cortez. So I just want to remind you guys all to watch that.
They like Connie, man.
It seemed like her time to go in the competition, but I agree. She would probably be a really good fit in a couple of or in a season of All-Stars. Like, hey, why not? But also, I did want to end with one final thing before you go into even that. So the real winner here is Bridie Stun, who landed herself some Toxico. Like, we all want to join. So, we don't hate you, girl. We just want to be you. All of us. I think the whole world collectively wants to be her in that moment.
Sure.
You don't want to be her? Okay. All right. So then let's move on to the next thing.
Yes. All right. So who would be the Craig and Juan winner of the week?
Well, we already decided, but I think whoever is tuning in, if you're watching, we like to give a little bit of a tip. And this week we have chosen Nyla Downs. We think you did incredible. We think all of the Feminosas did incredible, but I mean, it was overdue. It was long overdue. I might actually up a little bit of tip just because we didn't start this until 2 weeks ago. So Nyla Downs, this might be for the first week, I think. I'm not gonna do first, second week, but a little bit more. We think you are very deserving of this. Again, not that the other Feminosas aren't, but you really have blown our minds with your art, and we really appreciate the work and the art. And the tip, I don't know what to say to that. But
Get yourself a soda.
It was detox for sure.
All right. But anyways, catch us on Twitch.
Yes.
We are at Brobrack Madness, and thanks for watching, everyone.
Yes, thank you. See you guys on the next one.
See you on the next one. All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.